In this lesson, we'll cover SQL command categories. Specifically, we'll focus on the Insert Into clause for adding data into tables and the Update statement for modifying existing table information. There are four major SQL command categories: Data Definition Language, DDL, Data Manipulation Language, DML, Data Control Language, DCL, Transaction Control Language, TCL. Data Definition Language, DDL, is used to define and modify the structure of a database. The most common DDL commands include create, alter, drop, truncate, comment, and rename. Using DDL requires a strong understanding of data structures, relationships, and conceptual database design. This includes knowledge of primary keys, foreign keys, uniqueness constraints, null values, and more. DDL is typically used by data engineers rather than data analysts. These engineers determine how the tables that data analysts query are structured. For example, when we learned about null values earlier, it's the data engineer who determines whether a particular column can accept null values. So DDL is primarily a language for engineers. Data Control Language, DCL, is used to control access and permissions to database objects. The main commands include grant and revoke, and occasionally deny. The primary users of DCL are data engineers and database administrators who manage user access, security policies, and permissions. They determine who has access to data and at what level. In many teams, senior developers and engineers are responsible for provisioning access to different data layers. For any particular database, the person in charge of DCL determines whether a data analyst has permission to query that database. Now for Data Manipulation Language, DML. This is used to manipulate data stored within the database and to query or ask questions of the database. Everything we've covered up to this point falls under DML. The commands include what we've previously learned, such as select, from, where, group by, order by, limit, and others. DML also includes insert, update, delete, and merge, which we'll cover soon. This language is primarily used by data analysts, but it's also essential for application development. Those who successfully complete this course could also pursue application development, since most applications work with data. Engineers also use DML extensively. In fact, DML is a prerequisite for working with DDL. Once you've mastered DML, you've completed more than half the journey toward understanding database engineering. The transition from DML to DCL is mainly about access control and might involve writing queries like grant select on sales data to analyst. This transition is largely determined by organizational structure. With your knowledge of DML, you could easily step into a database administrator role if your organization requires it, as you'd primarily be working as a data guardian, writing occasional DCL commands. Finally, Transaction Control Language, TCL, is mainly for managing database transactions. It's used primarily by engineers, especially in sectors like banking and e-commerce where financial transactions are critical. TCL commands include commit, rollback, and savepoint. TCL users typically manage the insert and update operations that data analysts in their sector rely on, ensuring data integrity during these operations. See you in the next lesson, where we learn how to insert into tables and update records in tables.